Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and welcome to week 5 of my 12 Weeks of Christmas series. So let's jump in. I'm actually going to create something I have not made in a long time, and that would be a more traditional shaker card. So I'm going to cut down some bases. I generally don't show cutting bases in my videos simply because I always have them on hand. I just pre-make a whole bunch of them, but I ran out and I thought it would be good if there was any beginners in the crowd that I, show how the bases are made, because I think that would be the easiest way for you to see it. So I have a full piece of cardstock there, 8.5 by 11. I like my bases to be 120 pounds. Everything is linked and listed in the description as always if you're ever interested in what I'm using. And then I've cut it in half. So you're going to see here, I prefer a side fold. You can do a top fold if that's what you like to do. I don't prefer that look. I prefer a side fold. So you saw that I just cut it in half. So I cut it at the 5.5 mark. So we're going to jump into the front panels, and I know I'm not matting anything. Shocking. I know. So for the bases, I'm going to score them at the 4.25 mark, because once scored, they're 4.25 by 5.5. And for my panels, I've cut 1/4 inch off of both sides, giving me a nice little border. It will be a white on white border. And I'm going to be honest with you, I did struggle a bit to line them up when I actually go and adhere them to the bases. So just keep that in mind. If you don't want to have as much struggle as I did, you might want to make them the full size of the A2 card front, although you're still working with foam tape. You can add glue. Like, there are tricks you can use if you want to try. Honestly, I don't think anybody's going to look at my card and be like, oh, it's slightly off center. Like, at least I would be shocked. Nobody's ever said that to me. So I'm going to hope that nobody does that. But I've never had anybody say something like that. So I'm not too concerned that they're not perfect. I am going to bring in my favorite snowflake. You guys will have seen this on my channel bazillions of times. It is my favorite snowflake die, and it is the Vault Winter Wishes die by Tim Holtz. I just love it. You can use any snowflake for this. You could use a heart. You could use a flower. You could use a star. You could any shape you want. It's just that I happen to be making Christmas cards, so I'm going to use a snowflake, but you could alter this to be any shape. The point is not really the shape, it's more the shaker card. And I am going to have shakers be my challenge for November. If you guys have been with me for any length of time, you'll know that I run a challenge in my Facebook group every month. And so October was Get Inky. That has just closed. And I will draw a name for the winner of October and September. I'm a little bit behind. And then they get a little handmade goodie in the mail from me. But I do every month a new challenge. And so November's challenge is going to be creating a shaker element of some kind. You can make a shaker card. You can make a tag with a shaker. You can add a shaker. It doesn't matter what the project is. That is completely up to you. The only thing is to make a shaker element. Now, if you've never done that, I am going to teach you how to do it in this video. This is the more, I'm saying traditional, it's a shaker. This is the more traditional way to make it. However, I have tons and tons of videos on my channel of doing flat shaker cards. And honestly, they are incredibly easy to recreate. Okay. So if you're a little intimidated by this, or you don't own the foam tape, or whatever the reason is that you're not feeling confident with this type of shaker card, there, no problem at all. Okay. I have great other examples of others, and there are so many shaker cards on the internet. Look up a tutorial, see a card that you like, and recreate it in your own way, and then put that in the challenge, so I have tons of them. So I'm going to ink blend directly on my base. The only separate cardstock is the panel that you see me with the snowflake in it. Otherwise, the color is going to come from behind the snowflake. So because it's me and I love my oxides, I'm going to blend in several different colors. So I have Worn Lipstick, Spiced Marmalade, Mustard Seed, Mowed Lawn, Mermaid Lagoon, Wilted Violet. And I am using my blending foam. That is just my favorite way to ink blend. And you saw me bring in my organization for domed foams. I created it. It is available for free download on my website if you're at all interested. I have a oxide and ink version. It's the same it's the same thing, except it just says Oxide ink at the top, or Oxide or ink on the top. So whichever one you want to download, but they're free. You can go and check them out. It's just ciaratdesigns.com. There's a link in the description as always. So if you want to go and download, I finally have my website up, so you can go and check those out if you're interested in that organization. And I do also have a live stream where I've created the project that you see there. So you can go check that out too if you're not totally sure how to do. I have a full-on, tutorial live stream of me creating it, so that'll hopefully walk you through it. So as for the challenge, the challenge is making something shaker element, card, tag, whatever you want to make. And so the thing is, it has to be made within November. So you can't enter old projects, because the whole idea of the challenge is that it encourages you to create. I know how difficult it can feel sometimes to be creative, or you're struggling for an idea. I create the challenge every month just as a fun thing that if you're struggling a little bit, it gives you something fun to challenge yourself with, to maybe try something different or try something new, or just get you creating. So it does need to be created in November. It does have to be added to the Facebook group's album, which I create. I always create it on the first of the month with the post. So if you've created something, you can go and put it in there. And that's just how I draw the name. So I go through the album, I write everybody's name down that has entered something, and then I do a random generator and it picks a name, and then that's the person who's won. So, there is an opportunity to just get a little bit of happy mail from me, and it's just kind of fun. So to get in the Facebook group, it's just linked and listed down below. You do have to answer 2 questions. They're very, very simple though. One is how you heard about the group, and the second is just that you're going to be respectful. I don't want anyone coming in and being hurtful to anybody else. It's a great place to just share projects you're working on, or it's meant to be a very safe and friendly space. So and a creative space. So you just have to be, respectful of others, because we have all levels of creators that come and hang out. So, we're all at different stages, and I just want to celebrate creating regardless of where you're at in that journey. I did bring in my glue press here. I just thought it was good for the fine detail of the acetate. So I've cut a piece of acetate. That is the window that's going to keep the shaker bits inside of my shaker. So this just needs to be the size of whatever shape you've chosen. So mine is slightly bigger than my snowflake. And then I'm going to glue all of the bits. I did bring in a bit of a stiff brush just to get, sometimes when you die cut things that there's like little pieces of paper that kind of get stuck. I just brought that in to kind of clean those up a little bit so they weren't stuck in my shaker window. And then I'm going around each piece of the snowflake so that I can make sure that nothing lifts from the acetate, because I don't want the glitter to get stuck underneath the acetate or behind anything. So you'll see, kind of as we go along here, how to do this. But this is the window. You do have to create a window, or your pieces, of course, would just fall out. So this is the easiest way I have found to do this. And then we are going to bring in some foam tape. Now, I'm going to learn an important lesson here in a second. I have a Waffle Flower Mat, sticky mat in my Misti. It holds my stuff. However, you cannot stick acetate to something sticky and think that it'll come out, because it doesn't want to. You're going to see me fight to get this out. It was starting to rip, so I stopped. I do get it out by gently lifting it with a pair of reverse tweezers, and then I kind of just gently pulled it out. And then you'll see me remove my mat and just put the foam back in. It wasn't a big deal. I was able to salvage this. Just don't make the same mistake I did. I didn't even think about it. I always put my, my stamping in the Misti, and I don't even consider the fact that 2, very slick surfaces sticking together is going to be difficult. So learn from my mistake. Do not do this. So here you can see I just put my foam that comes with the Misti back in there, and then I'm just going to stamp on that. Not a big deal. It's just something I didn't even think about, right? So it was just kind of funny. So I'm going to stamp out my sentiment. This just says Christmas, joy, and peace. This is from my all-time favorite Christmas stamp set. You guys will know I use it in almost every Christmas card design because I love it so much. It is the Christmas Blessings stamp set by Simon Says Stamp. If you are in the market for a beautiful sentiment stamp set, this is the one to grab. It is full of so many beautiful Christmas stamps, and I make a lot of Christmas cards because I do the Christmas in July series, and then I do the 12 weeks of Christmas series, right? So I do create a lot of Christmas cards. So because of that, I just think that it's like so valuable to have a great sentiment stamp on hand, and I use it all the time. I love it. Now for the shaker window, we have to create a barrier so the shaker can't get out, but we also need it to be thick enough that they can shake around. This is where you have to actually like create more barriers. When I do the thin, what was it? The full shaker card. When I do those and it's plastic, there's no way for it to get out because it's like sealed in the plastic that I've wrapped around the card. The flat shaker card. I had a brain fart there for a second, guys. I'm editing this the day before I set up for the market. So today is Wednesday for me. You guys won't see it, of course, until Monday, but the market is happening and I'm just a little bit all over the place. I'm going to be honest. I a little bit of anxiety, a lot of bit excitement, a little bit of nerves. It's always a little bit vulnerable when you put your art out there. And this is the first time I've done a market of this size. So I'm just a bit, so bear with me if I say something that doesn't quite make sense. Anyway, so we're creating a barrier. Make sure that your foam tape touches each other, not in the inside parts so much, but on the parts that you've created the frame around with, they have to touch, because if they don't, that's where your shaker bits are just going to fall out. So you don't have to go as overboard as I'm going right here. This is just me showing you how much you could add. Like you can cover all of the extra white space if you want to. You don't have to add that much. I just chose to because I don't know why. I thought it would be fun, I suppose. So I did do that, but you'll see on other ones, or actually you won't, you'll see it on this one. You can see that I didn't add as much inside of it because I didn't need to. Like I went a little overboard on my first one, and then on my second ones, I kind of just went like this for all of them. I am going to use my anti-static powder tool just around the edge to make sure that it's not sticky, because if it's sticky, it's just going to grab your glitter or your shaker bits, whatever, and then they're not going to shake. They're just going to be stuck to the side of your foam tape. So this is the easiest way I've found to kind of stop that from happening. And then now we get to add the shakers. So make sure you pull off all of the release paper first, because you don't want to do that while you're trying to juggle the shaker bits already laid out on your card, in this case base, because I'm not doing a second panel. You could mat this, but that would, of course, you'd have to have blended on another page and whatever, but I chose to just do it on the base. So you're going to see I'm going to add some Distress Rock Candy Glitter and some Mica Flakes. Those are just my preferred bits. You add whatever bits you like. And I'm going to keep my hand on the card because if I let go, it will open and then my bits will go flying. So hopefully this all makes sense. I'm going to show it to you again though, so you can kind of see it. So we're going to remove all of the backing of the foam tape. I did kind of eyeball where I needed my shaker bits to go. So that's what you see me doing there. I didn't set it down or it would have stuck, but I did kind of just set it above where I needed to look at the placement. And then I'm going to remove all of my backing from my foam tape. I'm going to hold my card closed with my other hand, scoop in my shaky bits, and then lay it down. And like I said, they're not going to be perfectly aligned, but honestly, I think these cards are fun regardless. So I'm not too concerned about it. And I did add a little more to some of them. I added a little less. It was just dependent on how much shake you want. That's all, right? Like the more you put in, the more it shakes, but it could also theoretically get stuck. The less you put in, the less it shakes. It's just one of those things, totally personal preference. And I did splatter a little bit of Perfect Pearls across the front of the panel. It just adds a little bit of something extra. You can skip this step. I love the shimmer. Like I just can't get enough. So I tend to add it to everything. That's just how I do. Skip that part if it's not your thing though. And you could, if you wanted to be a little bit even more extra, you could go and pop out the bits from the snowflakes and stick them on the front of the acetate, and it would give you a really cool look. That was a bit too tedious for me this day, so I did not do it, but you absolutely could if that's something that interested you. I did not. And because it's me, I am going to add some pearl elements. I love the embellishments. I love them so much. They just add a little bit of whimsy and I can't resist. So these are beautiful like this. You don't have to add the pearls, but man, do they look pretty. So I did add them, and Ember's going to come check it out, decide if she likes them or not. You saw Mist in here too. She walked across the screen a couple of times. The cats, of course, helped because they usually do. And then these are the card designs I have for you guys. I think they turned out phenomenal. Oh, you can see the snowflakes are moving at the top there. My kitten's trying to steal them. because they like to sit on the desk and help me when I'm creating. But make sure you enter the challenge if you think that would be interesting. Just join the Facebook group. You can come just hang out in the Facebook group too if that's not really, don't want to join the challenge. That's okay. It's just kind of to try to help you come up with an idea if you're struggling a little bit, or you just want to do something fun. Sorry, the kitten now is like rubbing on the part that holds my camera. So bear with me. There we go. We got through it. But yeah, so this is the card design I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. And of course, every Monday up until Christmas will be a Christmas project because we are in the 12 weeks of Christmas. And thank you so much to my members. You guys are phenomenal. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. You support the channel. You make all this possible. So thank you so much. If you're interested in being a member, there is a link in the description. You can go check what that entails and what you get for it if you want to. And yeah, so that's what I have for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. And thank you for subscribing if you have. If you've been a long-term subscriber or you've just new, thank you so much. You are helping me make my dreams come true because growing the channel is a big dream of mine and it is growing. So that is incredibly exciting to see. And I love that you guys appreciate my hard work here. So thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. I cannot wait to see you again. And I will have that market video guide up for you guys pretty soon, I hope. It might take me a little bit of time to just get the footage together, but I think it'll turn out pretty good. So I will see you guys again very soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye for now.